everybody. We're here for Facebook Live. Nobody's watching us yet.
Okay.
You're on too, Aspen.
Yeah.
Say hello. We got one person. See a little eye? Tells you how many people.
Oh, see, I'm so clueless to this.
Say hello, everybody. Hi.
Aspen says hi.
Aspen's going to read you the chapter today. Are you going to be a good reader? No?
Aspen, what do you think?
Ooh, look at that. Alice and then Noah and Aria and little baby William are watching.
Yeah.
No, I don't want you to go. You stay
You
here.
have to stay. Stay with Mama.
Look, she's just staring at you.
You stay with Mama. It's okay. Yeah.
Who else? I like it. The computer's actually kind of far away.
It is kind of far away and it's a little.
Isaac and
He's got
Weston.
some good eyes.
Woo!
Ooh,
I know.
it's
Okay, I'll let you go. But remember that my pet was here because you are going to need that information here at the end of our time together. So, all right. See you later.
Bye, Aspen.
Now I'm full of hair. Christian, hello. Mrs. Huddle and Miss K here. We'll wait just a couple more minutes and see if we get some more people, and then Miss K is going to start reading chapter 24.
So get cozy up because it's time. Mrs. Huddle and I are
This is Miss K's first time on Facebook.
ever.
Woo woo!
I know. Pretty excited.
All right, let's see. Oh, Dylan and Rex
Oh,
and
sweet.
Lillian is watching.
Hello.
Awesome. All right. Well, it's 7:02. Should we get started?
We could. What do you think? Should we get started? Should we wait a little bit? Another minute?
One more minute.
Some people's clocks are different.
Eden's watching now. Hi, Eden. We'll give it one more minute. Ooh, we jumped to 13.
Yes. What's your biggest you've had?
I think I had 30 during one of the readathon nights.
30?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But that was the biggest.
Great. Well, maybe we'll break it tonight. What are we at? 13?
13 so far. And you guys stay tuned because I have another contest through the PTA. Because you know the PTA is who bought all of these books for every single Somerset student and teacher. That came from a PTA Passion Project grant that I wrote. So thank you and shout out to the PTA for that and making this whole thing possible. But they are also going to have another contest at the end when we're done reading. I'll tell you what your job is in order to enter that contest to win some Somerset spirit wear.
Hint, hint, hint. It has to do with, not going to tell you yet.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Josephine and Scarlett are here. Oh, we're up to 17.
Yeah.
We're rocking it.
All right. On this rainy night.
Hi, Elizabeth. All right, Miss K is going to get started.
All right. Chapter 24. A reply. Bad, said Mr. Grayson as the students filled into the classroom. You got an email from Mr. Jerry Dragoo. He wrote back, Bat said, his heart beating faster. There were only a few days left until Thor was supposed to go to the rescue center, and he had almost given up hope. What did he say? You can read it at recess, Mr. Grayson said. It's a nice email. I want to read it now. All the other kids were at their desks, but Bat was still standing in the aisle. He felt his hands pull up tight against his sides, the way he did when he was excited. At recess, Bat, said Mr. Grayson. Bat hated waiting. He hated waiting. It was stupid to wait for something if there was no good reason that it couldn't happen now. Who cared if class started a few minutes late? If it meant that he could read in his email, a real-life skunk expert had written to him. That was certainly more important than anything Mr. Grayson had planned right now. He had a real-life skunk expert ever written to Mr. Grayson? Almost certainly not. Mr. Grayson, I think you should let me read the email now, Bat said. Bat, Mr. Grayson answered, sometimes we have to wait. It's good practice to delay gratification. Bat didn't really know what Mr. Grayson meant by that, but he knew it meant that Mr. Grayson wasn't going to let him read that email right now. He wanted to insist, and he would insist if he thought he could change Mr. Grayson's mind. But Mr. Grayson looked serious, so Bat reluctantly went back to his seat.
Have you ever had that happen to you? You wanted something so bad,
Yeah.
but you had to wait?
Yeah.
It's so hard.
So hard. Too bad, said Israel, putting down the book he had been reading. Don't make fun of me, Bat yelled. Whoa, dude, Israel said. I wasn't making fun of you. Bat, said Mr. Grayson, coming over to his desk. What on earth is the matter? Israel was making fun of me, Bat said. I was not, said Israel. I just said it's too bad. Bat can't read the email now. You don't really think it's too bad, Bat said. He kept his eyes on the surface of his desk, running his gaze over the wood grain. You don't know what I think, Bat, said Israel. You don't know everything. Bat, said Mr. Grayson, putting his hand on Bat's shoulder. The weight of his hand felt good. It helped Bat to feel like he was sitting in his seat, like he wasn't going to fly away. Try to give Israel the benefit of the doubt, okay? If he says he was being sincere, believe him. Bat nodded, but he didn't look up. Israel went back to his book. For what it's worth, Bat, said Mr. Grayson in a quieter voice, I think Israel was being kind. I think he'd like to be your friend. Then Mr. Grayson took his hand off Bat's shoulder and returned to the front of the room. Now Bat wasn't thinking about the email from Mr. Jerry Dragoo. He was also thinking about whether Israel wanted to be his friend. He thought about how Israel had asked him if he wanted to play Foursquare and how he had said hello outside the sugar shack. Then he thought about the other kids in the class looking at him right now, and he thought about Thor's eyes. He thought about the windy day outside. It was too much to think about all at once, and his skin began to feel prickly and too tight. But he couldn't take off his skin. So instead, he reached into his backpack for his earmuffs and slipped them on. The classroom noise around him faded, and Bat's skin calmed down. Bat looked at the clock above the classroom door. It was 8:55. Recess was at 10:15. That was exactly 1 hour and 20 minutes away. He could wait that long. He didn't like it, but he could do it. Time was a funny thing. Sometimes an hour and 20 minutes didn't feel very long at all, like when Bat was watching YouTube videos about animals. And sometimes, like when Dad was watching baseball on TV, an hour and 20 minutes felt like 20 years. But that day, the hour and 20 minutes between 8:55 and 10:15 felt like 20 baseball games. At last, Mr. Grayson said, "Okay, gang, go play." The kids shoved back their chairs and headed for the door. Bat pulled off his earmuffs and went to Mr. Grayson's desk. "It's recess," he said. "Yes, Bat, it sure is," said Mr. Grayson. He opened his laptop. "Can I read the email too?" Israel asked. He hadn't gone outside with the other kids. "Why?" asked Bat. "Because I'm curious. You've been talking about Dr. Jerry Dragoo nonstop." That wasn't true, was it? Maybe it was true. "Okay," said Bat, "but no making fun." "I wasn't making fun before," Israel said, "and I won't now." "Here you go, gentlemen," Mr. Grayson said. He clicked on the top message of his inbox. The subject line was, question about a baby skunk. Then he stood up so that Bat could have his chair. "When you're done reading your email, just close the laptop and come join us outside," he said. Then he headed out to the playground. Bat sat down. He could feel Israel standing behind him, reading over his shoulder. The email read, well, I think we're done, aren't we? I don't need to read the email. I'm just kidding.
Do you want to hear the email?
Should we make you wait?
Let's see. Do you want to hear the email? Scarlett's here. Molly and Aaron are here. Hi, Donovan and Kaden and Gracie. and Barrett and his brothers. And Kellen is here. Do you guys want to hear the email?
You want to? Okay, all right. Here we go. Dear Bat, I am very interested in skunks, as you know. I can tell that you feel attached to the kit, and I don't blame you. Baby skunks are adorable. But the question of whether you should keep him as a pet is a complicated one. Even if your mom feels reasonably sure that he is disease-free. All pets require a huge commitment of time, energy, and usually money. Skunks are no different. In fact, keeping a skunk as a pet is much more challenging than keeping a dog or a cat. Skunks are not pets by nature. They are wild animals. And from my many years of experience, I can tell you that most people don't know what they are getting into. As it's very easy to fall in love with a baby skunk, but it's difficult to truly be a good caretaker to a skunk. Most people would be better off with a dog. Still, this skunk kit has come into your life, and for at least the next few weeks, you and your mother must work to be the best caretakers you can be. Should you keep the kit? Should you give him to the rescue people? I don't know the answer because I don't know you and I don't know your kit. But it sounds like, for now, the kit is right where it needs to be, and I trust that you will take care of it. Sincerely, Jerry Dragoo, PhD, Dragoo Institute of the Betterment of Skunks and Skunk Reputations. And then there's the picture of them reading the email. That's too bad.
Yep.
That's too bad, said Israel. What's too bad? Asked Bat. That the skunk guy doesn't think you should keep the kit. That's not what he said Bat. Well, he didn't say that he'd tell your mom to keep him. He didn't say that the skunks make good pets. Well, that's true, said Bat. But he didn't say we shouldn't keep Thor either. He said that a good caretaker makes a good pet. So all I have to do is be the best caretaker in the world and convince my mom to let me keep raising him. I can do that. Bat closed Mr. Grayson's laptop, absolutely determined to become the very best caretaker that a skunk could ever have. Can I come over sometime? Israel asked. Why? Said Bat. I don't know, said Israel. To hang out and maybe meet Thor? It's okay with me, Bat answered. I'll have to ask my mom.
Awesome. So it sounds like Bat is getting a friend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wanted to hear that email, Miss Kay. Gus is here. What's up, Donovan and Kaden? All right, so we are ready for chapter 25, and I'm going to read that one. It's called House Guests. There were just a few days left before Thor was supposed to leave for the animal rescue. Bat didn't have any time to lose, and all afternoon he practiced how he was going to tell Mom about Dr. Jerry Dragoo and how important it was that Thor stay with them as long as possible. But that night at dinner, he found himself nervously avoiding the topic. What if he couldn't change Mom's mind? Bat couldn't imagine anything worse than that. So instead of telling her about Dr. Jerry Dragoo, Bat said, Israel wants to come over to our house. Who's Israel? Asked Janie, dipping her chicken chunk into barbecue sauce. He's a kid in my class, Bat said. Bat, honey, that's great, said Mom. Is he your friend? Janie asked. Bat considered the question. Was Israel his friend? Israel was nice to him. He was interested in some of the same things that interested Bat. He didn't seem to think that Bat was weird, and he wanted to visit. I don't know, Bat said. Maybe he is. That's kind of a big deal, said Janie. You've never had a friend over before. Yes, I have, Bat said. Ezra comes over all the time. He's my friend, not yours, Janie said. He can be your friend and Bat, said Mom. I thought you said Ezra's annoying, Janie said. He is annoying, said Bat, but so are you, and you are still my friend. Well, no one's more annoying than you, said Janie, but I guess you're my friend too. Huh? Are you ever like that with your brother or sister? Like, I love you so much, but I also think you're super annoying. I think I told my brother that on Tuesday night, actually. Neither of you was annoying, said Mom. And Bat, I think it's great that you want to have a friend over. Well, said Bat, dipping his chicken chunk in ketchup, it was Israel's idea, not mine. He wants to meet Thor. At that moment, Thor was just where he should be, tucked into his pouch, warm against Bat's chest. And remembering Thor made Bat nervous all over again. Well, I think it's a great idea, no matter whose it was, said Mom. I'll call Israel's parents to set something up. Maybe Saturday? Whenever, Bat said. And then he said, Mom, there's something else, too. What is it? Mom had a chicken chunk in her hand, already dipped in sauce, but she set it down. I wrote to a world skunk expert, Bat said. The words came out fast and loud because they were important. I wrote and asked him about keeping Thor as a pet because I don't want it to send him to the rescue people. I want to raise him here at our house. I love Thor and I think maybe he loves me too, and I'm not ready to give him away. Oh, Bat, Mom said, how on earth did you find a world skunk expert? And then Bat told her about reading in his animal encyclopedia, and about Dr. Jerry Dragoo, and about Mr. Grayson helping him with the email, and about waiting and waiting for a response, and about finally getting an email back, and about how Israel had wanted to read it too. I can be a good skunk caretaker, Mom, he said at last, and then he waited to hear what she would say. But it was Janie who spoke. Wow, Bat, she said. That's pretty cool that you found an expert and wrote to him. That takes guts. I think you should let him keep raising the skunk, Mom. He's pretty serious. Bat was so surprised that he felt his mouth drop open. Janie was helping him? Bat, Mom said, I've been watching you with the kid. You are so responsible and careful with him. But, honey, raising Thor until he's old enough to be released is a big commitment. He'd have to stay with us all through the rest of the school year and through summer as well. Well, that sounded wonderful to Bat. The longer the better, he said. Well, you say that now, Mom said, but what if you get tired of feeding him and cleaning up after him? And what about when he gets bigger and he's awake more of the time? Mom, said Bat, and he did his very best to make his voice sound as serious as he felt. I will never get tired of Thor. That would be like you getting tired of me and Janie. Mom laughed, and she reached over to squeeze Bat's hand. Then she shook her head, which Bat knew was a sign for no. And he felt his eyes stinging with unspilled tears. But she said, Beautiful Bat, you have become an excellent skunk caretaker. You have been dedicated, and you have even found a way to contact a skunk expert. I have to admit, I am impressed. I'll tell you what, I'm thinking that maybe we won't call the Animal Rescue Center next week, and we can try having you take care of Thor with my help until he's old enough to release. How does that sound? How did it sound? It sounded not as good as a promise that he could keep Thor forever, but still impossibly good. Bat felt like he was vibrating on the inside. He was so happy. He wanted to jump up and whoop with joy, but Thor was curled up and asleep in the sling, and a good skunk caretaker would never startle his kit like that. So instead, he said, Thank you, Mom, and thank you, Janie. Thank you both. So we only have one chapter left, and that is coming up next week on Tuesday. We will read that one.
That was some good manners, saying thank you to his mom.
I know.
Boys and girls, remember the manners to Mom and Dad.
The other thing, too, first let me tell you about our contest, okay? And let's see if there's any. Mr. John, the old Mr. John from SAC is listening. Kaden loves the book. Cora's here.
Yay.
Okay, so here's the deal, you guys. Bat had to show he was responsible to take care of this pet in order for Mom to agree for him to keep it. And I know that lots of you have pets at home, or maybe you have stuffed animal pets at home that you take care of and help take responsibility for. So Aspen, who you saw when we first started, my girls who are in 3rd and 5th grade, they need to feed Aspen, and they also need to let her out to go to the bathroom and let her back in the house. And then they also are responsible for taking her for walks when it's not raining or 40 below zero outside. So those are some things that my girls do to help take care of pets here at our house. And then they also have fish that they have to feed. So what I want you to do is let's get to know your pets, whether that's a real live animal or if it's a stuffed animal that you have, maybe a stuffed animal puppy or a little lamb. And what I want you to do is take a picture of you with that animal and then make one little comment about something you do to help take care of your animal. You're going to post it on the PTA Facebook page, okay? And if we have 10 people post, we'll pick one Spiritware winner. If 20 of you post, we'll pick 2. And if 30 post, we'll pick 3, and so on and so forth. So the more posts, the more winners we'll draw. So it's all about how do you show responsibility and help take care of the pets in your house. And like I said, even if you don't have a pet that actually is living and walking around your house, it can be a pet that's a stuffed animal pet, or maybe some of you that have classroom pets could share about those, like Speedy the turtle, or what's the bearded dragon's name in Mrs. Lawson's room?
I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of it, so
I'm having a forgetful memory.
And even if it's
what's Mrs. Lawson's dragon's name? Someone comment and let me know.
And even if it's not an animal that you have, maybe you help a neighbor, maybe you have grandparents that you help with pets, or even if it's not your own pet or a stuffed animal, maybe it's a pet you know that you helped.
Absolutely. Okay, no one is telling me.
Oh no, someone just
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Ember, thank you.
That's what it is.
Thank you, Bridget Johnson. So it could be how you help take care of Ember. So that's the contest. And then what's super exciting is we will be finishing this book next week, but also next week, each grade level is going to have a turn to come down to the small gym, and there are going to be some puppets there. And these, some of the things that Bat does in this book are a little different or quirkier. He takes things really literally. Sometimes he has a hard time making friends. And these people that are going to come with the puppets are going to talk about how we can be inclusive of people that might have a hard time making friends or not understand what we're saying, or just that have lots of differences. And I think each grade level it's going to be a little bit different on what kind of differences you'll meet, but you'll meet these characters through these puppets.
They're big puppets.
Yeah.
Big, giant puppets.
Yes. That will share their stories. And then we can talk about how we can be friends and show kindness to people that might be a little bit different from us.
And protect people, too. I think sometimes there's times where kids get picked on and we might stare, and instead we could protect them and help them. We've talked a lot about that, too, in class.
Standing up for people. So that is on, and Mrs. Rawl has Spike. So if you help take care of Spike in Mrs. Rawl's room. So we had Speedy, Ember, and Spike. I think that's it.
I hope that's it. We don't know.
There's other pets. I don't know about them. So the puppets are at school next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday and Wednesday. And so different grade levels, different days. I will put the times into the Star News Friday if I hadn't done that already, so that parents, you know what day your child will be visiting with the puppets. All right, that's it. Head on over to the PTA page, post your pictures with your pets, and show some responsibility there. And what if your pet is dead?
Wow.
You know what? If you have... Both Miss Kay and I have lost pets this year, and that's hard. But I would say even if you had a picture of your pet and you wanted to just show that picture and talk about a way that you showed responsibility when your pet was with you, that would be okay too. Because I know my girls miss Gunner a whole lot, and they could show that instead of Aspen.
Yeah. So a lot of you know I still have Elam on my badge, so she's always with me. So
Absolutely.
I think that's a great question.
Yes. We forgot Mrs. Corpella's fish. Oops. I don't think they have names
Ms.
though.
Corpella.
But the fishies. Okay. That's it. We're gonna let you guys go, and
it's time for bed.
It is time for bed. And tomorrow morning, special surprise when you get off the bus. So make sure you get to school on time. Okay. All right.
Good night.
See ya.
Good night, Somerset.